on?
Good, how are you?
About as good as I look. What are you doing?
It's cold.
Yep.
Yeah, it's getting colder on Birch Creek. I wonder how you're preparing yourself mentally for that.
Don't think about it too much. Honestly, it's cold, but I didn't realize it was cold until I saw the thermometer, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty cold. You get pretty used to it when you're out there. You just kind of get acclimated and you put your head down and keep doing what you're doing. I'm not worried about the cold. You feed the dogs a little more, but that's about all you got to worry about.
You're rookie to the trail, and there's some tough miles ahead. Not many miles, but some tough ones.
Sure there are.
But you're not a rookie to mushrooms, so how do you use your experience as an athlete to deal with the more difficult parts of the trail?
You're referring to like the mountain passes up,
Yeah.
coming up here, and then just also I hear there's just a little more tricky sled driving in general.
Yeah.
But again, you can spend a lot of time thinking about it, but what can you possibly do different going into it? You're not going to do anything different. I mean, you might pack your sled differently or wear different boots. Or, I mean, seriously, what are you going to do? So basically, when you see the tree coming, you swerve and try not to hit it. You get to a hill, you run up the hill. I mean, so I don't think about 200 miles ahead of me what the trail's going to be like, other than how it might affect the dogs. It's hilly terrain, cold. All right, that has some bearing on how we feed the dogs or how we kind of do our running and resting schedules. But as far as me, it's not tough. It's just what we do. So take it as it comes and don't worry about it too much. Stay focused on what you're doing right now.
How are your dogs doing?
They're doing well. I've got a dozen of them right now. They're all pretty tough dogs. We're not going super fast, but we're going fast enough. Everybody's healthy. I haven't got any sorenesses really to speak of. So I'm thinking they're doing pretty well.
Do you have a dog that's a surprise or a highlight or a leader that is?
Yeah, actually I do kind of. I got a little boy, actually he's a big boy, named Diesel. And I call him a puppy. I mean, he's 4 years old, but mentally he's still kind of puppyish, And he's stepped up and he's done a lot of leading on this race. He used to run and lead in the yard, when it was really low key, but didn't really take command. Never had done any leading under stress. And then here, he was stepped up and done a lot of long runs in the cold and done some very good steering. He's actually, what I realized here the last couple days is he's kind of my speed leader now. The older guys that you put him up there, they cruise along, but this guy's a little bit younger, not as bright, but he gets down the trail a little bit quicker. So we're working on him.
So I heard that earlier you were kind of looking at this race as preparation for the Iditarod, and it looks like you're really moving up now. So I'm wondering.
Wondering if I was a liar?
No, not wondering if you're a liar, but just does that change how you're going to approach the next couple hundred miles?
I've been right on my schedule the whole time here. In fact, I'm a few hours behind now, just with a little bit more difficult trail conditions and all. But it's hard to write a schedule when you haven't seen the trail. You don't have any idea what it's going to be like on that stretch time-wise. We took it easy to the halfway. I was running what I thought was a very conservative schedule. We were kind of back in the pack, 8th place or something at the halfway. I had all 16 dogs. That's kind of what we wanted to do. And then from there, I wanted to pick up a couple positions, and there were just a few more positions available than what I thought was going to be.
When we were in Dawson, you told me that this second half would be the half where you were going for place.
Yeah.
And, based on that, are you running how you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sacrifice any dogs, hurt anybody to try to move up this position here. This is, the Iditarod, you take bigger risks than what you're going to take here, at least for me, because that's my big race. However, here, it just hasn't been any really difficult decisions. We're just running dogs, and I want them to be getting tired when we reach the finish line, but that's part of conditioning them for the Iditarod. I'm trying to push them a little bit harder here. This is the last big phase of training. But as of yet, we haven't done anything dramatically different because of competition or where the other guys are. We're just running dogs. Honestly, coming in here, I didn't think I was going to be, fourth or whatever I was. I thought there was going to be a few more people ahead of me. I camped in some different places, so I had no idea where I was relative to the other guys. And I was shocked they weren't here yet. So, yeah, we're just doing our thing.
You were an Olympic caliber athlete, and I wonder if you use use what you learned from that experience to apply to your mushing?
I think it's hard not to use, what you learn. Okay, I'm probably not using, the technical moves that we're learning there, right?
Not
But
wrestling with your dog.
no, we'll see if it's photo finish. You might be pulling some of those moves on the opponents there, but there's some of that stuff. If you're successful or competitive in anything, there's certainly a mindset and just how you set up, how you prioritize, how you make the decisions, how you structure your time, everything else. You're going to have to learn that regardless of if it's a sport or it's a job or whatever. So yeah, I think there's things I learned in there and ways of coping with, extremely long periods of very uncomfortable time, whether you're cutting a lot of weight or, mushing at 40 below, whatever, stuff like that. Yeah, you get, I'm sure there's a lot that overlaps. Probably the most valuable though is just knowing what it's like for these dogs, when they're tired and worn down, and you know what it's like, you know what you feel, and you know where the wall is.
One more question for you. There's been a lot of sort of working together, camaraderie in this race. Brett Sass picked up upon Scott on American Summit. There were a bunch of teams that left
This year, or?
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
There were a bunch of teams that decided to go back in Dawson and meet together just for safety in numbers. And it really sticks with the code of the North. And I wonder if that's something that you are mushed by.
Honestly, I don't like to break your code of the North or anything, but I'm not going to leave anybody to die out there. But I'm not going out of my way to group up with other people. Honestly, I try to avoid other teams when I'm racing, just as a general rule. It sounds kind of insensitive, but it's twice as many problems. Every time they have a tangle, you're waiting for them. Every time I have a tangle, they're waiting for me. I don't really see the advantages. I usually have plenty of lead dogs in my team, or at least a couple really tough ones that I count on. So I don't try to buddy up with people. Like I said, I try to avoid that. If somebody needs help or they want to borrow something, yeah, we're always swapping gear, whatever, I've got runner plastic, they've got, more fuel for the cooker, whatever. You're trading, you're giving stuff if they need it. But as far as, going out of your way to try to find problems so that you can be there to help, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm racing, I'm paying, kind of paying attention to my own stuff and, not going out of my way to get involved with other people's stuff.
Thanks so much.
I have a question. So I saw all your candy bars and your Gatorade and stuff like that. When you're on the trail, what kind of stuff are you trying to eat?
Anything. I don't eat nearly enough. I'll be going out there for a couple. There was a while there where I was getting really cold, and it's like I haven't eaten anything in 48 hours. Nothing.
Are you drinking?
So then you start rummaging through your bag and trying to find anything, candy bars, Nutri-Grain bars, whatever. I have done really well in this race for drinking.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been going through the Gatorades like crazy and water and stuff. So I've been doing. I really focus on that. That's something I definitely learned from being an athlete. You've got to stay hydrated. That's the number one way to stay awake. Sure, I got 5-hour energy and stuff like that, but that's not a really helpful. It's a temporary fix for between 2 and 6 in the morning when you just crash and you cannot stay awake. Staying hydrated is by far the best way to stay awake
Do you
long
find
term.
that you're drinking a lot of Gatorade, or is it just water, or do you have other stuff out there?
Whatever. The Gatorades are convenient because they're in a little bottle and they taste good, and so you actually drink it. You don't think about it when you're sitting in the house. It's like, yeah, I'll have a glass of water. But now, when you see it's all bundled up there, out there, coming into the checkpoints, you've got frost all the way up to, a 32nd of an inch away from your face. You move any little bit, and you got ice on your face. Your zippers are all frozen shut. And if there's any chance of that Gatorade or water being thawed, it's all the way on your base layer. So now you got to take your gloves off, try to get through, 6-7 zippers. Your fingers are going to be freezing after the first one. And by the time you open it all up, pull your face mask down, you're getting ice smashed in your face, your fingers are frozen. It's just not worth it. You have to be pretty determined or have something that tastes pretty good to go through the process to actually take out the water bottle and drink it. So I try to drink a lot in the checkpoints. When it's warmer, it's not a big deal. It's pretty easy when it's warm. I'll try to drink half a Gatorade or a whole Gatorade every hour, pretty much. I got my Nalgene over there too with Tang or water or something like that. Yeah.
Is there any food that you look forward to in the checkpoints?
Any food. It's been kind of fun, all the hospitality stops, people having food out there. I haven't eaten as much as that I sent out because everybody's got something, so it's been fun it's something different every spot. You know, I've had some really good food along the way, and it's whatever people come up with. So that's been neat, just the people, you know, along the race. So.
Thanks, Dallas.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much.
Dallas, thanks very much.